Tom Brady has had his ups, he's had his downs in Tampa this season, but bottom line, and really all that matters, the Bucs are 10-5 and they're in the playoffs, certainly a contender to play at home in Tampa for Super Bowl 55. Now, the Saints won the division while Tampa grabbed one of the 3 wild card spots, having won 3 straight games. Brady and crew helping to turn the franchise around, clinching their first postseason berth since 2007. Ryan, would you say this season is a bust for Brady and the Bucs if they don't reach the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it kind of is. And, and I know we're going to look at these situations and say, it's his first season in Tampa Bay, was a team that didn't even make the playoffs, and now they've at least turned into a playoff team. So, nobody cares about that. Listen, and I said it early on this week. I was asked about a successful football season. I played 13 years in the NFL. I had one successful football season. That's the football season that we ended being the last team with a win. That was it. That's the years that count. The Super Bowl years. And when you're Tom Brady and you've been to the Super Bowl 9 times and you've won 6 of them, that's the expectation. That's the expectation you start every year with. That's the expectations he brought with him to Tampa Bay. And so when you don't do those things, you ain't win. You fail. And yes, they are better. And yes, the stats look good, but didn't we expect that? We expected some of the explosion we saw with Jameis Winston. You're going to see that in the 35-plus touchdowns. You're going to see that, he changed the perception, or he changed the way that they turned the ball over, which we expected. He'll finish with 10 or 11 interceptions. That's who Tom Brady is. But isn't it about winning? Isn't it about elevating this team and making this team not only a playoff contender, but a championship team? And if they don't get there, if they don't have that opportunity at the end of the year, if they're not playing in their home stadium, this season is a failure. Can't cut it any other way. It's Super Bowl or bust for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and if they don't do it, they lost.
We were agreeing and we were on the same page, but I couldn't hear anything you said after you said if you ain't win the Super Bowl, your season was a failure. So I just had a whole career, many years, of just having failure after failure. I ain't got no trophy, huh? I got no trophy, so I just a professional failure. Jeez, man, you had to make it personal. Anyway, Tom Brady is a different circumstance for Tom Brady in this situation. I think that you can have a season that is successful. Maybe if your season leads to a free agent contract, that's a successful season. Maybe if your season builds into a successful team that then later on wins the Super Bowl after you retire, maybe that was a successful season. Maybe these things happen and you can have successful seasons for other players, but not for Tom Brady. Tom Brady went down to Tampa Bay to accomplish one thing, I would think, to win a Super Bowl. That's why he got all these players. That's why Gronk came back. That's why Bruce Arians was willing to accommodate Antonio Brown. That is why all this is happening, because Tom Brady wants to win a Super Bowl. I think that he probably entered this season with 2 goals. One, to demonstrate that he can do it without Bill Belichick. I guess you could argue that he has demonstrated that he can succeed without Bill Belichick. He's done that. But I think that if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, or at least go to the Super Bowl, he's gonna walk away from this. That team is gonna walk away from this and think it's a failed experiment. You don't put together a super team. You can go to basketball to the Clippers or the Lakers or any team that you have. Yeah. You don't put together a super team like that expecting to get close.
I agree, but I feel like we're being so damn hard on this team and Tom. Tom is almost like a victim of his own success in a way. It's like the man has so many Super Bowls, and if he doesn't win another one, it's like, well, that was a wasted season. It's like, come on now. He went to Tampa, whole new situation, right? And I was one of those people that got real hype, okay, Tampa's going to win it all. And then talking to those coaches early in the season, it's like, we're putting pieces together that haven't been together after an offseason where we weren't together. No preseason games, all this stuff. Brady was a model of consistency in New England, comes to a whole new system during COVID. I think we overestimate how easy it was going to be
Kimberly,
for this team.
So, Kimberly, what you're saying
I know you're not telling me. I know you didn't invite me to the show.
I'm asking a question. I'm about to give it back to you. I'm just asking the question. So what you're saying is
Raheem,
you started off the season thinking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl, that they brought Tom Brady here to win the Super Bowl.
Yes,
and
they
then
pushed all
you
their
let
chips
your
on the table.
reporting You let your reporting and what those people told you make you not believe your first thought. And that is your fault, Kimberly. That's not our fault.
No,
That's your fault. This is a failure.
No,
It's a failure.
No, we are not going to gang up on me here. No, we are not. So this is the
Let
thing.
me know when I can speak, Kimberly.
Tomorrow. So when you I think we get it. This is the Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes situation all over again. We're prisoners of the moment. We think like we're on to the next best thing. Like, oh, we hype everybody up, and when they don't meet our lofty expectations, it's like, oh, well, this was a waste. This is trash. I agree. Like, they pushed all their chips in the table. Getting Antonio Brown, that was the thing that was like, okay, it's Super Bowl or bust. But all I'm saying is Tom Brady has done enough in his career. The 6th-round pick has proven himself that he is a champ. And even if they do not win a Super Bowl, I do not think it is a failure, personally. I don't. I think that's a little too harsh.
Go ahead,
so
Dom.
the question,
I got something else. Go ahead, Dom.
The question was not, is Tom Brady's career a failure? Like, we all understand
right.
that. And you, a couple segments ago, you brought up a relationship analogy. So I'm going to bring one up to talk about this one. You said, or I see this at the beginning of this conversation, you said that Tom Brady won 6 Super Bowls. Tom Brady has created those expectations. That's something that I learned early on in my relationship, is that you don't earn points. Like, you think you're doing something nice, that don't put no money in the bank for you. All you doing is create expectations. You cook dinner a couple times, they're like, oh, this is nice. And then the next week comes, they're gonna be like, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. Where's dinner? So Tom Brady created for us.
Oh, this show,
Tom Brady
bro.
started cooking dinner for us every day of the week. And Tom Brady wake up and give me a kiss before he go to work. Tom Brady come home and he hug me. He have my slippers ready. Tom Brady run a bath for you. And every time I get home, I expect Tom Brady to give me all those things, because that's what he been doing for his entire
relationship.
So it's about the expectations. Yes, it's a failure. The expectations are up there because of them.
It's a because here's the thing. Like, you can have a great movie and not win an Oscar, right? You can put out a great album and not win a Grammy. You can't have a great season and not win a Super Bowl if you're Tom Brady. Like, it just doesn't happen.
That's not true.
When you set the bar where Tom Brady has set the bar. Like, so if Tom Brady right now is playing for the New York Jets, I think we feel differently about this, right? But when they put this team together, this was before they acquired Gronk. This is before they acquired Antonio Brown. When we were just looking at Godwin and O.J. Howard and Mike Evans and looking at some of those young pieces on the defense, when they acquired Tom Brady, we all said this team is a championship contender. Period. It wasn't on, oh, we had COVID. It wasn't on, oh, we trying to piece some things together. None of these excuses that started to come once they started playing football and we realized, oh, hell, this might not happen, right? Everybody said from the beginning it was going to take some time to gel. So I didn't expect them to beat the New Orleans Saints early on in the season. But what you did expect is that they'd continue to ascend, and then Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, will be right there in the thick of things, which they are. And this would be a Super Bowl team. This would be the first team. This would be the first team to play at the crib for the Super Bowl. And if it don't happen, it's a failure, Kimberly. And don't be so nice. You can say it. They failed. It's all right.
This is the first time I've been called nice on this show. Okay. All right.
But does the failure necessarily rest all on Tom Brady's shoulders?
It's not necessarily for Tom Brady, it's for that team, but I do think that Tom Brady came there. He is the centerpiece. He's the quarterback. He's the reason why we think that they went from Jameis Winston to him. That's the reason why we think that they are a championship team. So, yeah, it's going to land on him, and I'm sure he's comfortable with that. So I think that we all see it this way. I don't know how Kimberly ended up where she does, but I imagine that the same thing is true in that building. If you hook them all up to polygraphs, I'm pretty sure all of them would acknowledge that as soon as they signed Tom Brady, When Leonard Fournette signed to go down there, when AB came out of not retirement, when AB signed with them, when Gronk came out of retirement, they all came there because they was planning on winning a Super Bowl, expecting to win a Super Bowl. That's why they let Jameis go. That's what they were doing. None of them and none of us should view this season anything else but a disappointment.
Tom ain't no building block, right?
Like this is building block.
Yeah, this is not like a rookie quarterback and you're going, hey, man, we got to the division playoffs this year. Wait till next year when Tom's 24. You know what I'm saying? Wait till his second year in the league. Like, dude's 43, right? You didn't bring Tom here so you could have on your resume, went to the divisional round this year. The next year we went to the AFC Championship. And look, we finally got to the Super Bowl. No, Tom Brady is a win now piece. He's not a building block. He's the whole dang house. And if they don't do that, right, if Tom Brady plays there 2 years and they don't win the Super Bowl, this was a failure. Because guess what happens in 2 years? Well, if Tom plays till he's 50, I don't know. But if Tom's done that, this 2 year span, right, it's over. And you're wasted because you don't have a building block. You got to find a new quarterback. It's not like you built a program around him. You're starting all over. This is a championship or nothing move. If they don't win it, if they're sitting at home with us in front of our TVs with buffalo chicken dip, and with mozzarella sticks, watching the game. Tom Brady don't eat that, but I will. If they're doing that,
avocado ice cream, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kimberly, go ahead. It's fine. The segment's almost over. There's enough time for you to admit that you're wrong, that if Tom Brady is not choking the trophy at the end of the season and giving it a smooch, that it's a failure.
I
it's
understand.
Okay.
Listen, I understand.
Yeah,
Brady has that mentality. I get it. I understand.
We won.
All right, well, we do have to move on from this. You know, there's still some time to determine whether or not the Bucs season is a failure, but I'll tell you one thing. We already know for sure that Cam Newton's first season